You're a worker at a local coffee shop in New York, living your childhood dream. Never in a million years did you think you would fall in love with Luigi Mangione, a killer! Luigi Mangione, the internet's favorite hot Italian sausage. Me, the internet's freaky gay amateur fanfiction historian. This week I read through nearly every single search result on Archive of Our Own and Wattpad for Luigi Mangione. My logic being AO3 is the most popular fanfiction site, Wattpad is where you're most likely to find the craziest RPF you've ever seen in your life, so I felt like I was covering my bases pretty good by investigating those two sites. This video is sponsored by Incogni, but more on them later. I read through all of the descriptions and tags, and then while I was doing that, I saved some links to the ones that intrigued me to read a little bit more, and then over the next couple of days, I read through a bunch of them in their entirety. So a good amount of me preparing this video was just So what did I discover in doing such a thing? I will tell you. Luigi Mangione fanfictions are largely sincere, I would say, not satire. Yes, the writers are aware of the absurdity of writing fanfiction about some hot guy who just got arrested for assassinating a CEO. They make fun of themselves often, and they don't take writing these stories too seriously, but they're still writing them with the intention of writing a good story, not parodying current events or anything like that. I came across a handful that were obvious satire, but most I think were sincere. The vast majority of them feature some sort of romance between Luigi and a original female character or your name. When you see Y/N in fanfiction, that stands for your name. When you read the fanfiction, you are meant to insert yourself and your name into this blank. This character that is supposed to be able to be you generally doesn't have a lot of defining characteristics, you know, because she's supposed to be able to be anyone, which is like completely fine, honestly, because a lot of the female original characters in these sorts of stories don't have many defining features either, besides like my long brown hair and my sparkling green orbs and my jeans. I did find the odd male original character paired with Luigi, actually. In those stories, it's generally like another prisoner after he's been arrested who's having a prison romance with, yeah, you get it. However, Luigi fanfiction on the whole is overwhelmingly heterosexual, and there are a few popular premises for these stories which have emerged. Premises number one, post Brian Thompson shooting, your name and Luigi have to go on the run together, or he like hides out at your house and you have this like dangerous relationship with this fugitive. Premises number two, also post Brian Thompson shooting, Luigi is in prison now and has some sort of a prison romance. Like I said, some of those are with another male prisoner, but far more often you will see it be with a female guard, lawyer, journalist, fan who writes him letters, that sort of thing. Premises number three, pre-Brian Thompson shooting. Your name is Luigi's old university or high school girlfriend who knew him before all of this craziness happened, but now she doesn't know if she knows the real him. You get it. Characterizations of him, Luigi, also vary a lot. Obviously, it's easy to turn him into this, like, dark and twisted criminal bad boy type who's gonna, like, kidnap your name and force her to go on the run with him sort of thing. And there are those stories. Other fics cast him as maybe a little bit less edgy, but still, like, this confident frat boy type who's, like, mildly infuriating. Others, which I find this is probably my favorite Luigi characterization, has, like, this brooding intellectual, this like brooding genius. He's like this extremely articulate revolutionary who's like always speaking in inspirational quotes about justice. I found one fanfiction out of literal hundreds which did not revolve around the shooting of Brian Thompson, did not feature it in any way. Every other story revolves around that crime in some way, even if the rest of it is like some off-the-wall AU, even if it's like Luigi Mangione Italian Mafia AU, or like it takes place in the Batman universe. That's a real example too. The Brian Thompson is always going to get shot. That is always going to be the focal point of the story. Luigi's alleged crime, and it is alleged at this point, and I want to make that clear, he has not been convicted of anything. It is technically still alleged crime. It is always the focal point of the story. It is inextricable from this man's sex appeal. Yeah, he's got the facial structure, but what makes him far more interesting than that is the crime that he allegedly committed. Some of the stories that I read incorporate a lot of true details about it. Exact dates and times, the clothing the assassin was wearing, the fact that he went to Starbucks right before, escaped on an electric scooter, the contents of his bag when he was caught, some quote from his manifesto, word for word, some quote news reports from the day that it happened, word for word. So as a reader, it's like you're getting all of these real details that you saw on the news a couple of weeks ago, but then it's also this fictional story where you're like inside Luigi's mind the whole time and also privy to his relationship with his secret girlfriend. And the result is this like almost uncanny valley, like real, not real, like what is going on? Like, it's weird. Maybe it feels normal to like someone who's accustomed to reading a lot of RPF. I have never read RPF for like leisure. This is probably the most of it that I've ever read, to be honest. The final thing, before we dive into it, is a word from this video's sponsor, Incogni. Based on your online activity, data brokers have collected all kinds of information about you. Your full name, your social security number, your relatives, your home address, your financial information, your shopping habits. Data brokers then either publish all of that personal information about you online for anyone to find, or they sell that personal information to groups who might want to prey on people fitting your description. For a long time, I thought data brokers were just responsible for like robocalls and weird emails. But the more I read about this, the more I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So they're like evil. American health insurance companies are now teaming up with data brokers to collect data that could be determinants of health. Many data brokers sell bulk data to companies looking to target specific vulnerable groups. For example, we've all heard about like scams targeting the elderly, but they've also been found to be selling lists with titles like young single parents and ethnic second city strugglers. Ooh, that's good. That feels great. The good news is that you do have the right to protect your privacy online and to request that data brokers delete the information they have about you. The problem is that doing that manually would be extremely time consuming, and then they just keep doing it even after you've requested they remove the information that they already had. So it's a constant process, whereas if you sign up for an Incogni account, they can play that horrible whack-a-mole game for you. The whole process is automated, so Incogni makes sure that your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removal requests whenever a new record shows up about you. You can start protecting your personal data with Incogni today. Use code ÆONS to get 60% off an annual plan, and Incogni offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out. Thank you again to Incogni for sponsoring this video, and now I return you to said video. Now, are most fanfictions of a high literary caliber? No. But that is not the point of them. Fanfiction is fun. It is fun for the people who write it and the people who read it. I personally find just the creativity of it so fun. I love that people have this need to respond to things that fascinate them by telling stories, by telling their own stories about it. Fanfiction is a super interesting space to me because people are just so honest and weird and creative within it. And this video is a celebration of that. The point of this video is not, ew, fanfiction bad. I am in fact delighted by the phenomenon of Luigi Mangione fanfiction. I, Strange ÆONS, am a real heterosexual ally. You heard it here first. And I know that there are people out there who will probably want to be assholes regardless of what my intention is in making this video, so I won't be showing the titles or the authors of any of the fanfictions I'm reading, just to make that a little bit harder. A final disclaimer. In the words of one Wattpad author whose story I read, didn't think I'd have to make this because it's literally a book of an AU that is not real whatsoever. I thought I made it clear in the description and prologue, but I guess I have to restate it. Obviously, Luigi is innocent until proven guilty. This is a fanfic that is not real. Thanks. Happy holidays if you celebrate. So this all started when, immediately after posting my last Omegaverse video, I received this Tumblr ask from someone confessing that they wrote the first Omegaverse fanfiction about Luigi Mangione. And I thought, of course you did. Of course you did. Of course that exists. And I decided to go visit the AO3 tag for Luigi Mangione, and oh boy, is it fun. Okay, the last time I looked, there was like 170 something search results, so there's already more since like a few days ago when I last looked at this. When Luigi Mangione assassinates the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, you witness the love of your life turn into a national criminal. But things weren't always like this. There was once a time where you were both just students at the University of Pennsylvania. You, the tortured, studious type who has fallen for him, the quintessential frat bro. What constitutes love? What classifies a criminal? And does it make you a criminal if you're in love with one? For legal reasons, this is a joke! Cutie McShooty! Okay, that's like probably going in the thumbnail, like probably. Charlotte Brooks is a 19-year-old from Bradford, Pennsylvania. She is a floater, living her life as if it is a game and she is simply a character. She has been in a few relationships, but nothing ever got serious for her. Luigi Mangione is a 26-year-old assassin, icon, and national sex symbol. He has it all. When a genius, valedictorian, straight-A student, and leader of his engineering class in UPenn gets an idea, who will follow him and who will betray him? Luigi Mangione is the modern-day Jesus. A rebel against the state that commits more wrong than right. When his grandmother dies because of lack of healthcare, he schemes a plan which will make all CEOs fall. It's not every day you let a murderer into your home. Luigi Mangione, ex-reader. He's watching you, one eyebrow still raised, that faint, infuriating smirk just barely tugging at the corner of his mouth. He doesn't say a word, but the glint in his eyes is unmistakable. Your sister's voice continues down the phone, oblivious to the tension crackling in your kitchen. I mean, I get it, she says. He's got that bad boy, tortured genius vibe, and those cheekbones, your name. Stop, you snap sharper than you intended. The word cracks through the call like a whip, and there's a beat of silence on the other end. What? She asks, laughing nervously. I'm just saying people are weird, and the internet is even weirder. Anyway, are you okay? It's kind of freaky that he's still out there. Makes you think he could be anywhere. Your stomach churns violently, and your eyes flick back to him. He's still watching you. This has 135,000 words! He only shot the guy like a month ago! You people have been busy. USA, if you see this, no you don't. Luigi, if you see this, hey baby. Giggling over this man like I'm 14 again. You're an immoral healthcare insurance CEO with the night to yourself. When Luigi Mangione breaks into your home, he says your industry has fucked over the ordinary guy for too long. Now he's here to fuck you. Lizzie wasn't expecting anything to happen when she got home from work, and she did not expect to see a man in her house either. She realizes who it is, Luigi Mangione, and here he was breaking into her house. I couldn't find any quality one-shots about this baddie, so I made my own. These are short stories about our hot Italian boyfriend. While you're working at your McDonald's shift, you think you recognize someone. Upon further inspection, you come to the realization that he was the shooter and killer of United Healthcare CEO. Will you call the cops or help him escape? Apparently the answer is oral sex. The United Healthcare CEO assassin finds a safe haven in you after his crimes. He knew you'd welcome him with open arms. And open legs. Luigi X Starbucks barista spicy thriller romance. Of course, of course. You're the McDonald's employee that recognized Luigi, except you're not gonna snitch on him. Love at first sight flirting. On the run. Free Luigi. I'm going on an FBI watch list for this one. You hook up with Luigi in a McDonald's bathroom stall in Altoona. Why is McDonald's the detail you guys are focusing on so much? Unable to sleep, the reader wanders through the house feeling disconnected and adrift. But when the sound of shattering glass jolts her from her haze, she realizes she's not alone. Sex with a stranger, home intruder, hear me out. He's some fine shit. He can't have sex because of the pain. This is canon, I'm sorry. I made him smoke tobacco because it looked hot. You've been roped into a ridiculous scheme to jailbreak the most famous and beloved assassin of the 21st century. He's waiting for justice, the good old-fashioned way. And what happens next might surprise you. Second person POV, Luigi, this is all I can contribute to the class war. I hope it helps. This kind of sounds like it fucks. And I will be opening it in another tab. I thought this was gonna be fun, because I was down for some plotting, some scheming, some heist movies, like the vibe I was getting from the description. But she is not in on this plan, really. So she has this brother who she describes as, like, a stereotypical, like, internet Reddit bro. He has this group of shady internet Reddit bros, and they're all massive Luigi stans. So they orchestrate this plot to get him out of jail, which involves the narrator having to go on, like, they make this whole fake identity for her, and she has to go undercover as a prison guard. She does not want to do this, but her brother threatens that if she doesn't do what he says, he's going to tell her crazy abusive ex where she lives, which is pretty fucked up. Upon arriving to her first day on her new job as a prison guard, she has to do some contraband searches of the cells, and obviously the very first prisoner that she encounters, like the first cell that she has to search, is Luigi. And he is horny. He is immediately crazy and horny, and like this seductive, domineering alpha man type. He's dangerous, which makes her both scared and intrigued. It is also implied that her brother and the Reddit bros must have known that, like, Luigi's main personality trait was horny, because that's why the girl had to do the infiltrating, because she could, like, seduce him or something. Anyway, there's only 2 chapters of the story out, so I don't know what happens after that. You find yourself in a coffee shop sharing memes with your friends about recent events. When a mysterious and beautiful stranger strikes up a conversation, it ignites a spark of passion and impulse. No beta, we die like Brian Thompson. Flirting, coffee shop reader, insert consensual sex. He's gentle and considerate and all around great guy. Modern day Robin Hood, don't you dare talk to me. New York City, the city that never sleeps. Beautiful, albeit flawed, like him, imagines that I made up because I have free will and I'm bored, so let me cook up this story. Okay, I think these are pretty short, so I'm gonna dip my toes in. Your Name is walking down the streets of New York when suddenly they heard a gunshot outside of McDonald's. They run to the safest alley to avoid the shooter as they saw the CEO of United Healthcare lying dead on the ground. Your Name didn't know what to do. They pulled out the phone and called 911 to report this terrible incident. As they were dialing 911, a masked man runs up to Your Name and grabs the phone. He hung up the call and threw the phone on the concrete ground. Your Name tried to scream for help as they started to tremble. The masked man put his hands on their mouth and said, "If you tell the police about this, I will kill you." The masked man removes his hand from Your Name's mouth. Your Name looks at him. He's fairly attractive. How could a criminal be so attractive? He takes a look at Your Name, looking at them with curiosity. He keeps looking at them until he heard the police sirens starting to come in their direction. The masked man grabs Your Name's wrist and drags them along with him to the end of the alley. "If the police ask about me, don't tell them, okay?" he said. "Okay, I won't say anything," Your Name responded. "If I see you again, I'm Luigi. It was nice seeing you," he says as he runs away. Your Name walks back outside the alley, and police are swarming them. They started to question Your Name if they saw anyone suspicious, but they claimed that they didn't see anything. As Your Name looked up the roof of a random building, they saw the mysterious masked man. He winks at them and blows a kiss in the air, giving Your Name hope that they will see each other again in different circumstances. Just as a bunch of sirens start going down my street, it's perfect. Penelope's quiet life takes a sharp turn when she discovers a fugitive on her fire escape. He's no ordinary man. He's the face of an emerging revolution, a vigilante accused of murder, and the symbol of a growing call for justice against the powerful elite. Against all logic, Penelope lets him in, driven by a sense of duty she can't quite explain, and an attraction she's too scared to name. I appreciate that the author of this story actually tries to spend some time with Penelope, give her a unique personality outside of just generic self-insert character. So the murder happens. Everyone at Penelope's work is immediately entranced by Luigi, supportive of what he did, and she thinks he's pretty cool too. She had to get her appendix removed when she was a broke university student, and that messed up her life for a couple of years. She's presumably doing okay financially now, though. I can only imagine how much rent she pays living on her own in an apartment in New York City. Anyway, the night after the murder, she finds Luigi hiding on her fire escape and lures him in like a feral cat and feeds him dinner and tucks him in on her couch. And she's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. It's just like a small act of kindness for a stranger." But she's like so ride or die for this man instantly. He's like, "It's okay. I'm gonna leave. Thanks for the food. I'm gonna go on the run." And she's like, "No, not by yourself. You're not I'm getting you out. I am getting you out of this city." That ultimately ends up being pretty easy because she just has this friend who turns out to be some kind of hacker criminal who can just like materialize fake IDs or money or like anything they need. What do we expect? It's all a setup for them to have romance on the run and a cabin in the woods and etc. Luigi is characterized in this one as like the extremely intelligent and articulate revolutionary fighting for justice. "This isn't about politics," he said, his voice steady but firm. "This isn't about their ideology or ours. It's not about Democrats or Republicans, left or right. That's all just noise. Labels to keep us divided. What we're dealing with is bigger than that. This is about class. The people who are pushed to the margins, forced to survive while the system props up a handful at the top. That's the real fight. The one they don't want us to see. Class consciousness means understanding we're all caught in the same trap whether we admit it or not." That sentiment is like, of course, exactly what he has come to represent to a lot of people, but would the actual guy say it, turn directly into the camera and say it in such perfect words? I have my doubts about that. Penelope obviously finds him very fascinating and inspiring. Ultimately, one morning, he wanders into that fateful McDonald's to get breakfast for them, and he gets arrested. But Penelope dedicates her life to activism and carrying on his message, and eventually gets him a really good lawyer who gets him out of jail, and they live happily ever after. Your boyfriend and his chronic back pain, Luigi. Your boyfriend and his chronic back pain is named Luigi? Okay. Your boyfriend and his chronic back pain, Luigi, yes, that's a sentence, have been the talk of the media lately. To the masses, he keeps his face nonchalant, but in you, he confides. Christmas is closing in, and you have a gift in mind that you're sure will comfort him perfectly. I wonder what that could possibly be. Free Luigi, free my boy, he ain't done nothing wrong. Criminal smut. I'm in love with a felon. Luigi Mangione, please start an OnlyFans when you get released from prison. The people require it. I need Luigi Mangione. IDK, what's going on? I'm not even a US citizen. I just like the hype, okay? And every night you take to the streets, using your fists to deliver justice. You save the innocent, punish the guilty, and keep the city breathing. Tell me, Batman, how are your methods any different from mine? Luigi pauses for effect, lips curling into a faint, bitter smile as he delivers the final blow. Oh, right. You don't kill. Part 1 of Luigi in Gotham. Oh, that's incredible. I love the internet. An associate at the defense firm representing Luigi Mangione spends some unexpected time alone with the client. He finds himself drawn in not only by Mangione's appearance, but by the brazenness of his crime. Moral ambiguity, moral dilemmas, prison! In the seemingly idyllic town of Helldale, Luigi is the epitome of charm and intelligence, the most popular guy in school, admired by all. But beneath his handsome facade lies a dark secret. Luigi is a psychopathic alchemist who moonlights as one of the town's masked vigilantes. Along with his brothers, he hunts down those who have committed unforgivable crimes, ensuring they never escape justice. After Luigi gets convicted with a life imprisonment sentence, he gets countless letters, but decided to reply to only one. Yours. Sapiosexual Elon Musk dies? Obviously I had to read this one. So, in it, the narrator becomes prison pen pals with Luigi. They discuss literature and philosophy and life and the nature of good and evil. Eventually, after months of swapping letters, this escalates to her visiting in prison. She brings him books. Despite the fact that they can't really be together, they fall in love with each other's big, juicy, philosophical brains. Also, this prison straight up lets them make out in the visitation room. So that's pretty unique. I don't think prisons regularly do that. This whole experience inspires the narrator to write her own manifesto and to go out and to kill Elon Musk. And she kills Elon Musk, and she gets the death penalty for it, and she dies at the end. But Elon Musk dies first, and that's what matters. He leaned closer, a sly smile playing on a smile. He leaned closer, a sly smile playing on his lips, as he pulled down his mask. What's the verdict? He asked, his piercing green eyes locking onto hers. Eileen Cooper, the youngest detective in the NYPD, has one mission: capture the Reclaimer, a vigilante with the charisma of a saint and the precision of a devil, who has turned New York into his playground and her life into a storm of chaos. But when their paths cross in a quiet cafe, Eileen finds herself drawn to his dangerous game. He knows her, he's been watching, and now he's one step ahead. As the public hails him as a hero and the NYPD demands his capture, Eileen must uncover the truth behind the man, and fight the feeling he's awakened in her. Luigi is in the cell, and he looks so rugged. He's now bearded, and his pecs glisten with sweat, and he's shirtless. There's also red lines all over his bod, because the guards are mean and crooked and fat. All of them I beat up, with just a couple of swings, and the right poke at the right nervous system that makes them drop dead instantly, because I spent 3 months in a place called Buddha, where I learned chi blocking, which is real martial arts. When he sees me panting and sweating, but like not in a gross way, with my hair up in a messy bun, he says, Who are you? I stand tall, toss my blonde locks to the side, and say, Watashi's name is your name. Luigi gets rescued by your name. Romance ensues. You've been sent back in time to correct a mistake. Prevent Luigi Mangione from being arrested on December 9th. You're now hiding out together in a seedy motel waiting for your next signal. Things get spicy. Free Luigi, too beautiful for prison. A girl can't help it. She is everything he despises. The daughter of Brian Thompson, the ruthless CEO of United Health. A man profiting off the pain of millions. Crystal Thompson is wealth, power, and privilege wrapped in perfection. She stands for everything Luigi Mangione was raised to hate. But Luigi, he's no saint, a vigilante born from Mafia blood. He spends his nights dismantling corrupt systems her family built. He's here to protect his legacy, uphold justice in the shadows, and never let emotion get in the way. Until her. So Luigi is in the Mafia, specifically this, like, New York Italian Mafia. Except in this universe, the Mafia is, like, all about justice and CEO murder. That's like their whole thing. So Luigi's father and uncle, who are the most stereotypical Italian mafia goons you can, at least that's how I picture them, because I found it fun to imagine that. Anyway, they're like, Luigi, so Brian Thompson, CEO, super evil, right? He's got this hot daughter who goes to your school, so you need to seduce her to get to him, and then like kill him, obviously. And Luigi's like, okay guys, sounds awesome. So he sits beside her one day in class and demands that she give him her number immediately, because he's like the domineering alpha bad boy type in this one again too. But then a year passes, and they actually fall in love for real, and they're so in love. So he's like, yeah, all right, I guess I won't murder her father. But then the Mafia boys roll up and they grab Luigi and they throw him in the back of a van and they take him to a secondary location and they're like, Luigi, we're gonna excommunicate you, we're gonna kill you, we're gonna do Mafia stuff to you unless you kill Brian Thompson. And Luigi's like, yeah, okay, fine, Dad, I guess United Health is like pretty evil, I'll kill him. So he goes to his girlfriend of 1 year, who he is so in love with, and murders her father for justice and the Mafia, and she's absolutely distraught when she finds out that he's the suspect who was arrested for it, and starts like rampaging around her room and like staring into her reflection in a shattered mirror. It was very dramatic. She swears revenge and that she hates him forever. She finds herself taking refuge in the warm embrace of the club. Alcohol. Meanwhile, Luigi is in jail awaiting sentencing, but all he can think about is this girl who he loves so much and whose heart he broke, and he's so distraught about the thought that she'll hate him forever. As it turns out, he is found not guilty and released immediately. So he obviously goes to stalk her. He shows up at the club and she is so just overwhelmed to see him in the club that she faints in the middle of the club. And so he like carries her unconscious body back to his apartment and like locks the door and refuses to let her leave until she realizes that she's still obsessed with him too, which she does. The next few chapters continue in that vein. She's like, no, Luigi, you're a murderer and I hate you and I never want to see you again. And then they have sex. Author's note, who's coming to the psych ward with me after this one? And then she's like, no, Luigi, I still hate you, never again. And then they have sex. And then the Mafia is like, Luigi, you're compromising yourself. We're gonna kill her if you keep seeing her. And Luigi starts thinking to himself, yeah, you know, I should probably just, like, logically, I should probably just kidnap her. Unless I kidnap her, take her far away from all of this. My conscience kicks in. You just got off on a crime and now you're gonna commit another one? I groan, running a hand through my hair. Fine, I mutter to myself. I won't kidnap her. Author's note, Luigi left that courthouse today looking so fine. Oh lord. Moment of silence for his new charges. Terrorism? IDK about y'all. But the only act of terrorism he could commit is in my bed. Bye! And that's where the story left off so far. It doesn't have an ending yet. I'm sorry. Luigi, I promise I'll get you out. No, my love. He kissed my palm and held my hand tightly against his face. You can't do anything right now. I looked at him in disbelief. I'm destined to die in this place. Anna, a police officer and psychology major, is trying to find out what's all the hype about the new prisoner. She is definite that he is an obnoxious, cruel person who thinks he can just get out of jail based on his worldwide fan base, but once she gets to know him, she lets her guard down and stops recording their conversations, and she gets to learn a totally new side of him. This is a work of fiction totally out of my mind. I do not know this man, and I can't say what he is like in real life, but imagination does wonders. So if you like imagining, keep up with my story loves. Alexandra Rossi is the daughter of an Italian mafia family and is going to be sold when she turns 18. She is afraid of getting sold. Her older brother Leonardo is best friends with Luigi Mangione. However, when Luigi gets arrested, Alessandra has to escape her boarding school and free Luigi. So obviously I clicked on this one because it's another Mafia AU. And in this one, Luigi has a best friend his name is Leonardo, I think. He's like the brother of the narrator. Did you hear the news? A girl exclaimed to me. What news? I genuinely asked because there was lots of news that it could possibly be about. The shooter, the same girl exclaimed to me. The one who shot the United Healthcare CEO, right? I asked her. Obviously yes, she replied, and he's so hot. Like, I'm making an edit right now before lunch ends. Another girl swooned over the thought of Luigi. She went back into her phone and tapped her phone intensely to finish it as soon as possible. Soon enough, basically the whole room is talking about Luigi, discussing their thoughts both positive and negative and even neutral about him, and whether what he did was right or wrong. And she stands up in the middle of the cafeteria and she's like, I'm the sister of Luigi's best friend. Everyone's like, wow. And then she goes home and makes a social media post about it and then also starts getting a lot of attention. Hello, everyone. I am 17-year-old Alessandra Rossi, Luigi Mangione's best friend's younger sister. I am here to talk about recent events that happened between him and the jail. Note that I do not condone any sort of murder, but that this is one of the few times that I allow this to happen. The United States healthcare system is in bad condition, and Luigi did the right thing by shooting him. What I think we can all learn from Luigi Mangione is that sometimes you need to go to the extremes to do what's right. Sincerely, Alessandra Rossi. I hit submit and went to my Twitter account. And then she goes to the prison and she's like, I'm gonna get you out, Luigi. I'm gonna get you out of here. Hello again. It's me from a different day. I did not give this video a proper outro. I'm sorry. Please accept these cat pictures as consolation. But that was all of the Luigi fanfictions that I read. I hope you love them and you had fun, because I love them and I had fun. Thank you again to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to click that link in the description down below to get 60% off your annual plan using code ÆONS. Thank you for watching my silly little video, friends, and I will see you in another one very soon.